right, folks, we're back. And it is Friday. Glad to be back here in the studios again today, folks. This is your host. Who? It's Radio Strongman, Kim Wade. I'm coming to you live from WYAB 1039 FM. Well, folks, it is Friday. We made it through another week. No small feat, I might add. Now, the exciting part, making it through the weekend, it is June 20th. Thought I turned that off. Hold on a minute. It is June 20th, and we made it through another week. That means it's Friday. It's a National Negro holiday. That's right. It's Friday. Days off. The rest of the day off, and we just celebrated Juneteenth, so people are tired from being tired from having a day off. I'm with Judge Joe Brown. No, the last thing and with the president, the last thing we need is another day off. So, no. Get back to work. Assume the position. But all right, folks, now the exciting part, making it through the weekend. You know, we live in an area that's dominated politically and demographically by who? Democrats. And here in Jackson, Mississippi, the more virulent form of Democrat, the Democrat head. These are people so dedicated to the Democrat Party, even the Democrat leadership blushes at the faithfulness of these people. I mean, they're willing to sacrifice their kids, their lives, their community, their sacred honor, fortunes, everything, even their relationship with God to prove their bona fides to the Democrat Party. And guess what? I won't be found wrong on it. You can be mad at me, and I understand it. My shoulders are broad enough to handle the anger that people have towards the strong man. And I'm just here to tell you, I don't care. As a matter of fact, your fallen countenance puts a grin on my chin, baby. I smile when I see you unhappy. I'm not happy until you're unhappy. That's how we're going to do this, okay? All right, folks, this is going to be an open forum. The hotline number is brought to you by EliteRoofer.com. Our good folks over there in Brandon, well, actually, they're all over the state of Mississippi and in Florida. EliteRoofer.com. We want to encourage you, if you need roofing services, exterior repair of your home, call this number, 601-326-2755 for your first, your second, or your third estimate. They stand at the ready to get you squared away. Many satisfied customers, and you could be one. Don't you want to be in that number? Yes, you do. All right, folks, it's an open forum. As a matter of fact, hotline number is 879-0002. Well. To my buddy out there, Rod Green. Mr. Green, you owe me the steak dinner that you've been evading since 2020 after the stolen election. And I said, sir, I cannot pay you on a bet after fraud has been committed, and you are well aware of it. So if you were not aware, now, sir, we have receipts, more receipts. President Trump is calling for a special prosecutor to investigate the 2020 elections. Yes. With that there, look, there's so many things that he could actually scoop up all the leadership of the rhinos, the deep state, and the Democrats. And this 2020 election gets them all. You know, many people have been wondering, well, when are the heads going to start rolling? When are people going to go be arrested and frog marched and into jail in orange jumpsuits and all that? You got to understand, they have a needle to thread. Many of these crimes that get committed in Washington, D.C., they have a built-in base of Democrat heads who will likely be on the jury. As you know, Democrats run D.C. in the ground, I might add, but they run D.C. And that's who you're going to get on the jury. So as Pam Bondi and Bongino and Patel looks at all this evidence of the evil and guilty ones, they have to also look at where's the best place to bring charges. So this is why I give them berth and a lot of leeway so that they'll get it right when they bring the charges. Because, you know, they brought the charges against those, who was it, Klein Smith, former FBI, DOJ high-level folks, and they got a slap on the wrist. As a matter of fact, by this Judge Boasberg. So we got to be mindful of that. But there's good news on the horizon. President Trump's calling for a special prosecutor. I imagine he's going to get it. Matter of fact, they should let Ed Martin do it. I think Ed Martin is investigating Otto Penn and the pardons. But hey, just put him over all of it, because they wouldn't confirm him as U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, so they obviously don't want him in there. That's the guy you want. And then with a special prosecutor's designation, he's actually got more authority to go out there and rip him a new one. So this article here is from Wayne Allen Root. This is a classmate of what should have been Barack Obama's time at Columbia University, but we all know that his entire story is a lie. You know, if the first lie the person tells you is what their name is, son, if you believe anything else beyond that, you're an idiot. Not only just an idiot, military grade industrial strength idiot. And I mean that affectionately. But you are an idiot. So the man told us who he was or who he was supposed to be, and then he didn't have any paperwork to back it up. He couldn't get in a nightclub with the evidence that he presented that's supposed to be proof of his residency, his citizenship, and everything else. The guy's typical, he's a fraud. But having that said that, FBI Director Kash Patel has forwarded documents hidden by the FBI under Chris Wray on a Chinese plot to steal the 2020 elections by mass producing fake voter ID to allow fraudulent mail-in voting by illegal aliens. They even had Mississippi ballots in the mix. And of course, Pete Perry and others will say, these elections cannot be stolen. Yeah, they can be manipulated though, I guess. Okay. So, hey, Pete, it's on Gateway Pundit if you want more information for what'd you call me? An election denier? Okay. Now you're a truth denier? Okay. First, why was the news of this plot in the documents and testimonials hidden by the FBI and the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland and Chris Wray in the corrupt Biden administration? Well, that alone tells the story. Why would you hide something if it never happened? Huh? You only hide it if it's true and incriminating against you. Second, why did FBI Director and Attorney General and other government officials claim again and again and again that the election was 100% secure? Why, Pete? Why? And they knew of no attempts to steal the election. Why did they lie? You'd only lie if China stole the election and you were part of the conspiracy. Third, if this was merely a failed attempt by China to steal the election and it was stopped by Chris Wray and his FBI and the DOJ under Merrick Garland, and also the DOJ under who? That would have been Mr. Barr. Because he was the one also saying, oh, no, it didn't happen. Okay. So, if the FBI had stopped China from stealing the election, don't you think they would have bragged about it? They would have bragged endlessly. And they would have been, and that evidence been used to prove how great thou art, the FBI. What a savior the FBI had been to our democracy. Remember how they're always saving democracy? How brilliant Chris Wray and Merrick Garland and Joe Biden. How they saved the day, how they saved democracy, our government, our elections. How government is always protecting us and safeguarding our elections. But none of that happened. Instead, the FBI hid the documents. Well, folks, that tells you everything you need to know. It happened, and the FBI need to cover it up because they were part of the election steal of 2020. I want Chris Wray's butt in jail. The main culprit in this conspiracy was China in the CCP. This makes perfect sense. They had the most to gain by defeating our beloved golden-haired God-sent president, who was winning the trade war. Trillions of dollars were on the line. Economic dominance was on the line. And the Democrats said, we can't have that. America last, America last. This was China's chance to defeat and embarrass President Trump, to reverse Trump's trade war victory, cripple America's economy, and most importantly, leapfrog over America to become the dominant world power. And who helped them out? Democrats and Democrat heads. And of course, you got your sprinkling of rhinos, deep staters. And of course, China and the Democrat Party were in this evil, wicked conspiracy together, thick as thieves. Folks, first Biden's brain, or lack thereof, in order to accomplish the steal, the Democrats had to hide Biden's deteriorating mental state. They used the excuse of COVID to hide Biden in his Delaware basement for the entire campaign. Where did COVID come from? Chicams, the Chinese virus. Was the entire COVID pandemic intentionally released by China? I'm reading this article from Wayne Root. It's on Gateway Pundit on the first row now. Was the entire COVID pandemic intentionally released by China in conspiracy with Democrats and Dr. Fauci, Yakub himself, in order to steal the election? Fauci used your tax dollars to fund the COVID virus research with our arch enemy, China. He literally paid to create COVID. Then Fauci lied and exaggerated repeatedly about the dangers of COVID. He literally made up the entire response to COVID lockdowns, masks, social distancing. It was all a fraud that paralyzed the nation and killed the Trump economy. Dead. It made it easy to steal the election by distracting American people, destroying Trump's economy, scaring to death millions of voters, killing your mother and father, your grandfather, grandmother, killed your babies. They died without a hug from you, all because Democrats wanted to maintain power. Brain dead Joe Biden, changing the voting rules and thereby making it easy to commit voter fraud, making it easy for illegal aliens to vote, making it easy to submit millions of fake ballots once the vote counting was stopped for the night in the key battleground states. The Chi-Con said that's where those mail ballots came from, on the back of that mail truck. Then, of course, this stolen election allowed the Democrats to control the economy, the budget, and all government contracts. Democrats then proceeded to loot the Treasury. They gave billions of dollars to their friends using the green energy scam. Billions of dollars wasted on climate change. Billions given to Democrat voters on welfare, food stamps, and thousands of other government programs. Billions of dollars went to non-government organizations, NGOs, and nonprofits, such as the ones run by the corrupt Stacey Abrams. $2 billion, and black folks didn't get a dime other than her law and friends from college. Folks, these people are evil. The stolen election allowed Democrats to open the border to carry out intentional destruction of America, and black Democrats aided and abetted, being the tent pole of this evil. And now they're fighting tooth and nail to ensure that the replacements that white Democrats brought in to replace black Democrats are secure in their position. And now black Democrats have something else to complain about being replaced by the people they helped replace themselves. Idiots! This is what allowed them to welcome in over 20 million illegal, and I know black folks get mad when I say that, but guess what? So, prove me wrong. What are you going to do? You can't do anything but be mad. And all I'm doing is giving you something else to complain about. You should be happy. Can a brother get a thank you? The stolen election allowed Democrats to insert their social justice, DEI, transgender. Folks, look at all the evil that came out of this stolen election. The stolen election put Democrats in control of the censorship industrial complex, sponsored by our own Rhino Roger Wicker, who is chairman of the FCC Communications Committee, refused to allow a vote on the Rule 230 to have it modified or done away with. He refused to allow that vote to come up in his committee. So we're stuck with this crap for the time being. Allowing them to censor, silence, ban, demonize, and persecute conservatives and critics of all kinds, even Radio Strongman. The stolen election allowed Democrats to weaponize government to persecute President Trump and his allies. They try to bankrupt him, demonize him, and send him to prison for life. With Trump out of the way and MAGA voters demoralized, no Republican would ever win again. That's what they thought. Therefore, no one would ever investigate the stolen election. That's what they thought. Lastly, but perhaps more importantly, the stolen election allowed Biden and whoever controlled Biden, and I'm guessing it was Obama and Soros, to mandate COVID vaccines, therefore forcing millions of Americans to be vaccinated against their will, some even fired from their jobs. Then after the fact, they used the media to cover up the death and injuries caused by COVID. These people are pure evil. Because everybody involved made billions of dollars in bribes and stock profits, including the media who carried out the cover-up Now it's up to President Trump to name a special prosecutor to bring everybody involved to justice. Put their butts in jail. Not tomorrow, right now. Going to take a break? We'll be right back. All right, folks, we are back. It is Friday. That's right, folks. The Gun and Knife Club will begin in earnest in another hour and 33 minutes. Be ye ready. This is a public service announcement. If you're not out of town by sundown at 6 p.m., it's on, baby. Look, here's what happened. We here at WYAB, we asked the criminal element of the city of Jackson, which is all the Democrats, and not all Democrats are involved with a life of crime. Some of them are attorneys who help the other ones get out of jail. Like Sean says, just because you did it don't mean you're guilty, okay? Sean Shirkaton or whatever how do you say his last name? Yerkaran. Jerk. Sean the Jerk. Let's just, we got to give him a little bit more gravitas because he is a bar card holder of some record and note. He's not a shabby one. Now, I've run across some shabby lawyers around here, but Sean actually has a little heft to him. And he has practiced criminal law, 20 years, 10 years plus as a DA, I believe. And so he will get you out of a tight, okay? But having said that, we just want you to understand that Democrats run this city, and they're going to run it in the ground. In fact, do you realize that the devil has a quota on the number of Democrats he let in? And at any one time, you just can't bum rush hell. Oh, no. Look, he know you people. He knew you when you were formed in your mother's womb. And he was just sitting there patting his foot, waiting on you to come out with your little bad butt. And so that's why when you go down there, baby, they got a special section for Democrats. I mean, you're in hell, and it's going to be uncomfortable with the Democrats. Look, they just make everything worse. I know you're thinking, Kim, how can that be? Don't ask me. I don't know. But I'm just going by my experience with them here on this plane. Boy, they hard to live with. Woo! A little bit of Democrat to go along. Look, I don't want you to give the impression that I'm anti-Democrat or I don't like them. I just know them. And I'm just saying there's no good that comes out of there. They won't fix anything. They get, for instance, yesterday, I told you about the letter I got from Fred, and then I got a call from the listener who was pointing out the fact that celebrating Juneteenth is no different than celebrating St. Patty Day. You know, it's just a body here, body there. Which side of the ledger the body's on this, But the thing is, people don't feel comfortable at the June 19th thing. I'm just saying. Well, Kim, that's not true because it's very well attended. I know. It is. And then at 10 o'clock news, and people see everything was okay, it's okay. It wasn't a problem. But your natural instinct is not to put yourself in that situation. Let me just put it that way. My natural instinct is not to do that. Okay? So for those you want to indulge, go ahead on and do it. But I will just point one thing out. I want you to think about what I'm trying to tell you. It has become clear to me, your host, who? Kim Wade, Radio Strongman. It's become clear to me. And I'm going to get a lot of blowback from this, but that's why I'm going to say it too, because this is talk radio and that's where we were controversial. But the black community, ever since we became black, when we were Negroes, we had sense as a community. Once we started calling ourselves Black Americans, just vacuous, just transitory gains and achievements. Nothing lasts. It's like Chinese food. You're full while you're sitting there. By the time you get to the car, you're hungry again. Well, I ain't going to say that because I know I got pretty full a couple times. But the point is, we've lost the ability to socialize. We don't know how to integrate into society anymore. I ain't talking about racial integration. I'm just talking about how to be around people without acting a damn fool or them thinking you about to act a fool. We got a brand problem and we have a behavior problem, and nobody wants to address. The caller was pointing out yesterday that the groups that he's part of, they go out and pick up paper. But this is why when I thought about that when he said it, and as I was driving home, I said, that's it right there. Right there is where we're failing. Because we don't even understand. It's one thing to feel good about going out cleaning up your community. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you got to spend every damn Saturday doing it, you're failing as a society. You're failing as a community. When did you stop cleaning up your child's room? When? Certainly when they hit the double digits in terms of their age, they had to clean their own room up. When you go out and pick up paper behind grown folks, you're doing the same. You're not helping your child by going and cleaning their room up for them. You're not helping them. So why would you think you're helping the community by going out? My point is, what is wrong with us doing what I suggest and telling these kids and training them not to throw the crap down there? Because we don't know how to socialize our kids. And when I say that, you know that action as home training. We're not doing that anymore. Just because you're a single parent don't mean you can't train your child. You were given some instruction from somebody. But see, these devils knew what they were doing back in the day when Big Mama was the one who kept the kids. She kept order. She kept them fed. She kept them with nutritious food. And you see how these devils, this is why I keep saying the black community started collapsing when white Democrats went from being our open enemy in 1968 to being our open friends. Oh, they put their hands on our shoulders. Negro, where you been? You big look. Of course I love you people. Just pick some more cotton for me. Yeah. You'll be off in 2 years, I guarantee you. Then we'll let you take a day off after we work you 2 more years. Call it Juneteenth. Folks, we don't even think through the things that we're doing. This is what I'm saying. I'm not optimistic. And I know there are blacks out there who don't like me saying, but you know the reason why you don't like it? Because you don't want to be one of the parties who want to be responsible for fixing the community. Because you look at it like I look at it. Well, my kids are good. I raised them right. And you know what? That is your first duty, first responsibility. But there was a time when we were Negroes and we didn't have all these black millionaires. We had thousandaires, hundredaires, and people with just some common sense on how to make that money last. How many of y'all remember grandmama going back in her bedroom and coming out with that sock? I still got my mama's sock, the one with the little clasp on it. I mean, there's a real sock with a clasp on it. I still got hers. You come in there with a need, and she died with better credit and a better credit score than you did, than you have. And she worked for less than minimum wage her whole life, raised, in our case, 11 kids. Folks, the reason why is because we don't want to take the time to train our kids. You know what we want to do? We want to go to luncheons and talk about training kids. When all we got to do is train that child that's near us. That's what Sister Janet Johnson's talking about when she come in here. When you're standing in front of that child, you be the mentor. You be the upright one. No. We want that child to go somewhere on Saturday and sit in front of somebody who's standing in front of them with a suit on, and now they're being mentored to. But you've been acting a butthole as a parent in front of that child, running men in front of her and them all week long, but you want to send them to the 100 black men on Saturday and think they're going to be okay. That's delusion. So you can get mad at me all you want. I'm going to keep saying it. And every time what I say come to pass, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to bring you into remembrance. So my question to you, what's your point? Why are you doing what you're doing? You want to be entertained? Okay, you can listen to WNPR. Because over there, they're going to talk that delusional black talk that makes you feel good about being black, being poor, potholes, dookie water. As I said yesterday, black folks in Jackson did not get mad about this water system until white Tate Reeves, white boy Bob got involved. Oh, we were enduring that dookie water. I know it. Matter of fact, go back to the Wayback Machine. Go to waybackmachine.org or waybackmachine.com and ask, when did Tate Reeves step in to fix the water? And then go back and says, give me the commentary on the water situation in Jackson, everything that was in the Clarion Ledger, WLBT, wherever you want to look at. And you'll see black folks mumbling, but they didn't get vocal. They weren't ready to get out in the streets until white boy Bob got involved. You know why? Because we're full of crap. Y'all trying to tell me that this is just too difficult to make a city work and run. And they're doing it all over the country, but where black folks are trying to make a city work and run. I'm telling you right now, and I'm going to say it to your face, the problem is you. You're indifferent, or at worse, you're incompetent. Let's take a break. All right. Got a couple announcements here. Want to make your breath up. First of all, Tom's Fried Pies. The weekend is up on us. If you're headed down 49, folks, don't forget, stop in Richland, Mississippi, and stop at Tom's Fried Pies. It's just south of Kroger's on the same side, headed south. At the red light there's a Walgreens. Across from the red light at Walgreens is Tom's Fried Pies. Home to some of the best fried pies known to mankind. They have cream pies, fruit pies, and meat pies. The meat pies are the meal pies, and they have a variety you can choose from. You may even want to suggest it. And I always encourage people to get more than one pie, okay? Don't go in there and get one. There's going to be a problem, even a problem with you, because you're going to have to turn around and go back and get you one more pie because I just need one more bite. I need one more bite to put me over the top. Ask Sylvia. She's addicted. In fact, we got her scheduled to go down to Mercy House Adult Teen Challenge just to get over this pie addiction she has at Tom's Fried Pies. So she should be down there 14 months until she can shake that habit of eating those pies. But I got to square this with Tom also. He said, Kim, no, you breaking my plate, dog. She's one of my biggest customers. I mean, literally, well, formerly. She's lost so much weight now. She's looking like a crackhead out there. She's wearing a watch band for a belt, y'all. I'm serious. I think she's lost close to 70, 80 pounds, maybe even more than that. It looks good on her, So way to go. All you need now, Sylvia, is a wig, girl. Hey, Sylvia, hey. And Donut Head out there, that boy just is crazy. He's crazy about you as Snowball is about Green Eyes. Folks, I think what happened, why we hadn't heard from Snowball is because he went out and got a second job. He had to get his girl back. So he been working 16 hours a day trying to get Green Eyes back to the house. I don't know if she's back or not, but he's trying to get his money long so he can be grinning again with old Green Eyes. But Snowball, if you ever want to call back again, you get your weight up, get your courage up, you can, but you're going to have to deal with the Donald Trump victory, sir. You will bow down, sir. Our number, 601-879-0002. We got Chris. Hey, buddy.
What's going on, Kim?
What's up, Chris?
If I ain't got to work tomorrow, I'd have to go down and get me one of them Tom Fried Pies. They're mighty fine.
Mighty fine pies.
Mighty fine. I just wish I could sell them on a couple of recipes, but everybody shuns away from them. Maybe one day. It's a great day not to be a Democrat or an Iranian.
It's gonna be a great day not to be a mullah. one of those Khomeinis.
What kills me over in this country, did you see that Oprah thing the other day? Whoopi, where she's talking about the people in Iran have got it better than the black folks and the gay folks in America right now.
Mm-hmm.
You have to pull up and watch it.
I'll have to see that.
That woman's losing her mind. She's losing her mind.
Well,
no, what I was calling about, there's a little old store I'll stop at. It's been there over the years. It's been there forever. Been there for years. And I've been there with a regular customer when I was in that area. And I had to divert traffic. I was just going to stop, and I noticed the parking lot was full. I paid no attention. I go in there, and they actually have become a payroll. All the amigos up there getting the checks cashed.
Oh yeah.
So when I walked in and I was seeing all, and they've never done, well, I didn't know this. They might have started. Like I said, I used to be a frequent customer because I was working at a place that was right up the street from it.
Uh-huh.
I went in there and when I was going in, I noticed one of the contractor dudes that does, I've been around. I talked to him, but when I walked in the store and I didn't realize what was going on, and it clicked like, you got to be kidding me.
Mm.
I was going to even get a drink and get me a chicken wing or something. I was like, I think you're going to sit here and wait on this. But I did not know that could go on. I knew that it happened, but that's just a full-blown bankroll setup.
Mm.
Beeb owns a store, too. It just got my mind to spinning. I just called it, just like, I get it, free enterprise, but that's kind of sketchy in my world.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I mean, because you know what I mean. I remember way back years ago when I was living in Morton, you didn't go to the post office on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of them will send their money back to Mexico, getting money orders and stuff, because I know the money goes further down there. But I also know, too, everybody's not a Mexican no more. We got them from, 120 countries or 150 countries now?
Yeah, we got a selection.
That's what I told people before they, start speaking Spanish. Man, them Mexicans, I said, they ain't Mexicans. It's kind of Latino or Spanish speaking.
All right.
And I was just talking, but like I said, I had never seen it at this store. It just blowed me away like, wow. And this store's been around in Jackson for a long. It's changed. I'm not going to tell you, but it ain't too far from WLBT.
Yeah. Well,
you know what I'm talking about?
I kind of have an imagination, but I mean, the store's in it to make money. So if they can make money off the transfer fees, I mean, that's what they do. They're looking for customers. Right,
but they don't know what they're charging them to go in there and cash a check. They got to be making a killing off that. I don't know how they do that.
Well, but they've been
$4 on 100, or I don't know.
Well, they have the rate thing on the windows there. They've been cashing checks anyway. I don't care. I don't really care. It is what it is. I mean, it's
right. You know what I'm saying? I knew when they went after these check cashing places. Remember when they was popping up everywhere? I don't even know if they're still around like they used to be.
Well, the banks went after the check cashing places, and now the banks are charging the same fees the check cashing places were charging. It's just
imagine that.
Yeah, they just wanted them to take over the turf.
I get charged for sending a paper bill because everybody wants you to go electronic, and I don't want to do that. I want to write a check because I don't do the computer and stuff. And now they charge you $1.99 to send you a paper billing thing out.
Yeah, it's a scam all the way around, brother. Everybody's looking for a mark to make money off of. So it's America.
Well, just like using your car now, if they're gonna charge you $2 or $3 to use it, it's just like, oh my! I mean, it's never ending.
Well, like banking, you got to explain to them what you're gonna do with your own money that you let them hold, and now they acting like it's their money. Now, so why you want your money? Well, hold up, man. Why you ask me all these questions? You can't give but a certain amount out before. Yeah.
And I've argued with them. I go there, send me a paper bill. I don't do the internet. I don't do a computer at the house. Well, I don't want to put all that information on my phone because I'm still getting stuff all day long, getting emails of my Amazon account's been in there. And I know not to open up text messages or emails and all this, but they're steadily going after it. Why do I want to put all that information in my phone when there's a chance that it can get hit?
Good question.
Because, I just got an email today that I'm trying to change my word on my Facebook that I sent a request in. No, I don't. I like to go back to, like I said, I know they do, but it's easy because I don't write that many checks, but it's easy for me to keep up with it and do it like that than trusting electronics. Because what's going to happen when all that shuts down? Like I said, that AI is taking over too. You can't even call and talk about it no more. A lot of people are going to be struggling because the Bible's fulfilling itself. We've gotten wiser and weaker.
All right, brother. All right, man. You have a good.
All right, man. You're great, bro. Have a blessed weekend. Be safe, and we'll talk to you on the flip side.
All right, brother. Take care. All right. Folks, look. I don't want anybody breaking my plate. I'm not trying to break anybody else's plate. What I want is society to have the lubrication that allows us all to enjoy the benefits of society. I'll be honest with you. I've gotten pretty damn tired and just hearing people complain about America. I'm tired of hearing people complain about white folks. I'm tired of hearing people complain about all the things that America is not. I'm saying, wait a minute now, dude. Okay, we all have issues. We in the black community, we have a branding problem because of the black Democrats amongst us whose behavior is just atrocious. And you can't say anything to them. And one of the things that's really got me roiled is the fact that you can't sit down and discuss. You can't even get to the meat of the problem anymore. Just like with this whole DEI, we were talking during the break about DEI and being debated, and the comments that John Horn made after he won the primary and went on the House floor, Senate floor there, and talking about how DEI, his opposition to it. Dude, DEI is only a big deal because white folks told y'all it's a big deal. Hell, black folks didn't propose DEI, but because they gave you something free, now it's, oh my God, we got to have it. No. Why don't you spend that time you're wasting on that DEI crap and just teach our kids reading, writing, and arithmetic. Black folks ain't interested in that, and that's very disappointing. Who do we have? We have a caller on the line.
Black folks ain't interested in that, and that's very disappointing.
Hello.
Yeah. Black folks ain't interested in that, and that's very disappointing.
All right, Sylvia.
Yes, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
I just wanted to tell you, it's 120 pounds that I've lost.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like a whole person. And I wanted to tell you that I sent you what Whoopi, with her ignorant self, said on her show, because it was clipped all last night on Fox TV. Almost all of the commentaries, folks like Sean Hannity and stuff, and Jesse Waters talked about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got it. I'm going to look at it during the break. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, good. And then I wanted you to know, I don't recall who Donut Head is. Who is that?
I'll send you his picture.
Because I can't even think of the name of the individual. And I do highly recommend Tom's Fried Pies. Even when you're trying to lose weight, just go walk a little extra so you can eat it. But it's worth eating. They are. And that's all I wanted to tell you. You have a good weekend. Talk to you later.
All right. Let us take a break. We'll be right back. All right, folks. The final few minutes of the Kim Wade Show. Got special guests in the next hour. But let me just end this. For those of you out there who are upset or don't really care for my commentary as relates to the plight and problems of the black community, I'm not going to say that I don't care what you think. I'm just saying, but it's got to be said. You're sitting back watching our community collapse, pretending like we don't have any problems. And when I heard the story, the backstory on the girl getting shot out at the McDonald's there in Brandon, and brother, our society is sick and our community is sick. And all I hear is people who already had the best life wanting more and not want to prepare and leave things for subsequent generations to enjoy what we were bequeathed. A working economy, a working society, a working city. And all we can think of is how easy we want to make it for ourselves. If somebody would just give us one more plaque, one more certificate for what I did back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Like I said, the grown folks that I was around, they were not like that. They were not glory seekers. They weren't looking for clicks and clouts and cash. They sacrificed all the time, and yet we won't make one sacrifice. We act like it's like we're trying to untie some Gordian knot just to run a city. And we make all these excuses in our head about why it's not getting done while we pretend to be pyramid builders or Wakanda developers. We ain't doing none of this crap. We're just full of crap. We're not getting the job done. And you think it's unacceptable. Well, I'm not going to change my message. You can change channels, but I'm not going to change message. Because if the Lord give me strength, I'm going to break this up at the door. You ninjas are not going to destroy Jackson. John Horn, I done told you, that program that you've been saying you're going to do on the campaign trail, it's not going to work. This is not a slight against you. Your policies have not worked anywhere they've been tried. And you throwing them down like they're the big joker in a card game. I'm not going along with it. I'm not going to let you guys run this kabuki dance between these guilt-ridden whites and these grifting blacks, and they stealing from all of us. I'm going to break it up at the door if the Lord give me strength. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. All right, folks, we're back. And it is Friday. Let me get that paperwork. It is Friday. Glad to be back here in the studios. And it's your host, Radio Strongman. And the Gun and Knife Club will begin in earnest in 53 minutes. Be ye ready. Just because we don't play the sound of gunfire don't mean you won't be in danger, okay? You're a member of the Gun and Knife Club whether you want to be or not. It's just a matter of whether you're armed or unarmed, dead or alive. So if you don't heed my warning, you could very well be looking up at the ceiling of the church come next week, and your family members will be saying, he should have listened to Kim Wade. He should listen to Kim. It's too late now. You got Wright and Ferguson doing your makeup. You sitting there looking crazy. They lying over you, talking about what a good person you were. Well, you weren't smart enough to listen. But anyway, folks, we have special guests in the studios, and they have a situation here that they're going to be talking about that I had never heard of. In fact, I didn't know anything about it. And now this situation has struck their families 2 times, and it's so rare. Only a couple hundred people in the entire 8 billion people on the planet experience this syndrome, and they had 2 hits in their own family. So wow, this is wild. I'm gonna let them talk about it. Excuse me. We're gonna be talking about the Barth syndrome, and we have special guests in the studios. Who do we have?
I am Christy Pena.
A little louder and pull that towards you. There you go.
Hey, my name is Christy Pena. Thank you for having me.
All right, and
Amy Wilson, thank you very
pull
much.
it towards you, Amy. Call them up. I put on deodorant. Come on. All right, yeah. All right. So who are you?
Amy Wilson.
All right, Miss Wilson, and both of these young ladies are daughters of a good friend of mine, and he will remain nameless until he calls in. I know he's sitting out there
He
listening.
probably will, yes.
But anyway, tell us a little bit about yourself. Whoever wants to lead, and just get the ball rolling here.
Well, Barth syndrome became on our radar back when my youngest son was born in 2008. We knew nothing about Barth syndrome.
Well, let us spill it, so in case people out there are interested. There's a website, Barth, BARTH, syndrome.org. Barth syndrome. Go ahead.
Okay, so when my son was born, he was born in severe heart failure. We didn't know there was going to be anything wrong, and he ended up being, he needed a heart, so we ended up in Arkansas at the time. Mississippi didn't have a program, and while we were there, we ended up deciding against a heart transplant. So he ended up being Mississippi's first pediatric hospice patient. He was not supposed to live 6 months, and we came upon probably his 15th birthday, and he ended up being discharged from hospice. But just after that, we found out the cause of the problem with his heart is a very ultra rare genetic condition called Barth syndrome. It affects your mitochondria, all the muscles in your body, your immune system, basically everything. And it is devastating to families. 85% of all babies born die before the age of 5. So it is deathly. And it hit our family. And so my son was diagnosed when he was 22 months old. And then just after that, we found out that Amy's son, who was 10 years old at the time, also was diagnosed with it.
All right. So how old is your son now?
Today, my son is 17.
Wow.
And so he is his own little miracle story. With that being said, the decisions we made was the most important thing for us was his quality of life.
Right.
So we've gone through a lot of things with that. The condition with this disease causes, we've had him being in heart failure 3 times. He's suffered seizures. He suffered strokes. He's been through a lot. He's never been to school in person because his immune system can't handle it. Just a basic virus put us in the hospital a few weeks ago for a week. Parainfluenza type 2. We were there for, his blood pressure was just bottoming out. So it's a devastating disease.
So what's his quality of life? Is it a regular 17-year-old? Was he a regular child or what?
No, he could
what
have
he can't do?
He could have a better quality of life.
Right.
His muscles are so impacted, like he would never be able to go out in the yard and play with his friends and be able to keep up. Like he looks fine, but you get him out there with his peers, and then it becomes evident that we're in a society where we worship strength and speed, their muscles are so severely impacted. You won't see it until they're trying to keep up, and they just cannot run. Like when they would try to play on the playgrounds, they couldn't do all these things, and then their immune system keeps them from that. So all these years, we've been told there's nothing we can do to fix any of this for him. We are lucky that he's alive, and so he's a blessing, but we made the decisions we did for his quality of life. Mm-hmm. And here we are presented with now a carrot is dangled in front of us. Hey, we've got something that can help. And it works, and it's safe.
Now Go ahead.
It's called elamiprotide.
Okay, so they've come up with a treatment or a cure?
This is not a cure-all. Uh-huh. It is the very first treatment for this genetic condition to ever exist. So it is the only ounce of hope we have right now.
After we've been told for so many years, there is no hope.
Well,
I
it
mean,
probably wasn't. I mean, if they didn't know, they didn't know either.
Correct.
Until somebody
Well,
found something, I guess.
When my nephew got diagnosed and it that obviously my son finally got diagnosed, doctors made me feel like I was crazy for 10 years. So it was a double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm.
It was validation that, number one, I wasn't crazy.
Right.
I wasn't, making all these things up in my head. But on the flip side of that, almost a death sentence. Now, thank God he's 24 years old, but he's beaten the statistics.
Right.
Statistically speaking, my son should be dead.
Right. So this treatment here has helped to try to restore some normalcy to their lives, help them be able to do.
Not only just normalcy, they live in a life-threatening condition every single day.
My son's health has declined so much since having to come off of the drug. He was the first participant in the trial to be pulled off because he had a minor skin reaction. So, of course, the doctors wanted to be
But they
safe.
gave us the COVID shot.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, since coming off of this drug, and I'm going to say this right now wholeheartedly, he wants this drug back. No 24-year-old wants to give it themselves injections every day. He knows this medication works. He now has a feeding tube. He's lost significant amounts of weight. His kidney function has declined. Like, his health has declined significantly.
So this drug that's given some relief is made and manufactured where, and what's the status of it? Who's the company? What's going on?
The company is called Stealth Biotherapeutics, and they developed this drug, and they have gone into this for the long haul. They are a unique drug company. They're not big pharma, and they are trying to benefit the lives of potentially 150 patients, which to me, to me that should speak volumes in itself to the success of this drug, because what company is going to really invest in something like that for such a small population?
Yeah.
But this isn't just improving lives. This is literally saving lives, because we have babies who have been on ECMO. We have babies that have been on Berlin hearts, which are that is the end stage. Let's save them. They're gonna die, and this drug has pulled them off life support, and they're living normal lives right now due to this drug that is in danger of going away forever.
The website is www.barth syndrome.org if you want to know more. If you have any suggestions, the reason why these ladies are here is because the drug is being discontinued. Well, you can tell us what's happening with the drug.
So the pharmaceutical company is going bankrupt. They've told us they have they've closed all of their programs. They've laid off 30% of their workforce. They're running out of money. They've spent over $100 million investing in this
Research
drug and the FDA has drugged their feet. We've been working on this. Drug trial started in 2014. With ultra rare diseases, the new FDA commissioner, Dr. McCary, keeps talking about he wants to help these ultra rare communities. Well, I'm calling on him right now. If you want to help us, step up and walk the walk. Don't just talk the talk.
It sounds like what you need is somebody who can touch these people, reach out and communicate with them. You don't have the juice, the heft, the connections. Anybody out there who knows who she needs to know, who she needs to talk to, can you put her in contact with your contact so she can get some relief on this situation? You want to throw out how they can get hold of you? They can always call me and I'll put them in contact with you. But anyway, you want to be reached, you got a website, email?
Well, right now what we're doing is our call to action is there's a website. Pete, I think Amy will pull it up for you. What it is it's kind of just a database where you just go in, plug your name and your address in, and it emails your representatives for us, because we only have a few voices. So we need you guys to help us amplify our voices and become noticed by the people who we voted for that work for us. They're not going to hear just two crazy moms, but if we start flooding their emails, we need you guys to amplify our voices to get heard by the right people. The FDA knows who we are. They are supposed to they have an accelerated pathway given by congressional right to do this, and we are falling through the cracks repeatedly, and every time they delay us, as they have done over and over again, lives are being cost. We are burying babies. This is not just well, just give it more time. You're asking for more time from people who do not have more time.
True that. True
Babies are literally dying. So the website is P as in Paul, the number 2, A as in Apple.co. I can also be looked up on Facebook, Amy Bono Wilson. If anybody messages me, I'm happy to give them any information that they could possibly need. We're also calling on Cindy Hyde Smith's office to maybe help bridge that communication gap. Roger Wicker's office has been very open and communicating with us through this whole process, so we do thank him and his office. But like you said, we just need to bridge that communication gap. We need to make sure Dr. McCary is aware and go all the way to the top. RFK Jr., I mean, they keep talking about how they want to help people, so do it. We're not uneducated people who can't make this decision for ourselves and for our children. We've had a crash course in medicine. Like, we should have the right to try.
Right.
Quit giving us the delays, quit.
So the company that makes the medicine is going bankrupt because they can't get final approval or clearance or whatever.
That is correct.
Right, because they can't sell it.
Right.
I mean, all of the patients that had it up until this point, they have to give the medication to them, and this has been going on for years and years and years. So they haven't made a dime.
Right. So they're so are you now? You're no longer receiving. They're no longer giving any medication. There's no medication to be had.
So the medicine right now, those that are receiving the medicine, either they are on extended use through the clinical trial that they were on, or they have emergency access, which is kind of like the right to try.
Right.
My son right now has emergency access to this drug. We noticed within just a few weeks of starting this drug, something he's never been able to do, suddenly he's able to climb the stairs with ease, whereas before he would have to drag himself. That was his nemesis. So in just a small way that most people take for granted, things that you're able to do, that's a big deal to us. So he and I think they said 30 other patients are right now on emergency access, and like Amy said, they're not making any money doing this. This is being granted to these patients and babies and keeping them alive.
And I just want to make one thing very, very clear. We're not big pharma people. We don't run out and get every vaccine that is released on the market. Like, we're not doing this to advocate for this drug company. That we're doing this to advocate for our children and for our community. We literally have babies that are dying. We lost one 3 weeks ago. Last week we have another baby that they thought he had a virus. The next day, nope, it's not a virus. Full-fledged heart failure. Last Saturday we had a 26-year-old that's heart stopped. The only reason he's still alive is because his family was able to do CPR until first responders got there and was able to shock him back to life. Like, we are losing our people left and right, and we should not have to bury our children because the FDA wants to drag their feet.
Yeah. Our number, 601-879-0002. EliteRoofer.com sponsoring this hotline this hour. Their number is 326-2755 for your first, second, or third estimate. They stand at the ready to give it to you. We'll be right back. Okay. All right, folks, we're back with the Bono girls here in the studios. We're talking about barthsyndrome.org. barthsyndrome.org if you want to know more about it. Folks, we're going to get back with the ladies, but I want to dovetail their conversation. I told you on Wednesday that I started these stem cell activating patches from LifeWave. I have it on right now, and I wear it for 12 hours. Folks, I'm telling you, my energy level is back to normal in 3 days. I'm talking about, hey, dude, I got that juice. I'm ready to roll, man. I didn't make it to CrossFit. I went over there and paid them, but I didn't make it to CrossFit today. I'm going to get back on Monday, get back into my routine. But I just wasn't feeling up to it. But let me just say, they're doing some amazing things. And this, when they're talking about the energy level with their kids, if they want, I sent you the information, ladies, if you want to look at it. Yeah, if you want to try these patches, and we'll see what it does for you. Because I think it's going to do well. Because your dad, when I was down low sick, he brought me some colloidal silver. And I'm talking about.
You want to know who made it?
Who's that? Is that right?
Christy.
Yes, yeah. And within hours, My respiratory breathing was back to normal and everything. So I owe him a salad. So this is to the extent if this works, that that would be great. So when you reach 30, your stem cells that your body has produced start declining, and that's where I'm at 69. And all this does, this stem cells just cause your system to activate and get the benefits of the light that's in your system to generate more energy. So I sent you that. I think it's going to do wonders for it. It may be a substitute for what you already have there. But in the meantime, in between time, we'll get back to today's show. But folks, I'm feeling great on day 3. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going back to CrossFit. Dr. Fowler over there at Fire Chiropractic got my lower back straightened out. And now I don't have that pain there. I just got to wait for some of the inflammation go down. So on Monday, I should be good to go. And I'm not going to make jiu-jitsu this weekend. I'm going to just wait till I get fully healed. But I'll be back full swing next week. So I'll be telling you more. So you need, if you have low energy levels, wait till I get done doing mine. And you want to try this here, we'll put you in touch and see if we can't make it happen for you too. Because you need to get back to exercise. And ladies, I didn't mean to steal your thunder there.
No, you're fine. And so imagine this. Imagine being so tired that you can't chew your food.
Well, now that's tired.
That is what our children
Sylvia,
deal
you
with.
need some of that. No, I'm just kidding. You done lost 120. You good now. But go now. That's sad.
It really is. I mean, we're talking,
So what do you got to do? Intravenous? Tube to get food, or you just got to wait till he gets out of jail?
He does now have a feeding tube, and he got that since he came off of the drug, which is ridiculous to me. I mean, we're talking about something that has already been developed. We know that it has no side effects besides a minor skin reaction that is easily taken care of with a hydrocolloidal patch or a little steroid cream. You talked about the colloidal silver. That's what I'm saying. We're not big pharma or medication type of people. My sister made that colloidal silver for you. So, but we know this drug works. We know that it don't have any side effects. So we're just asking high-ranking FDA officials to wake up, understand what the situation is, and realize that our babies are dying.
Folks, if you know anybody that can be of assistance, if you got some questions or if you have some, you got information. You know somebody who knows somebody. That's what they're looking for.
Absolutely.
So if you could help out, again, give your contact and how people can. You say you're on Facebook.
Well, I'm on Facebook, Amy Bono Wilson. They can reach out to the Bard Syndrome website, bardsyndrome.org, and email through there. Anybody at that foundation would be more than happy to get them in contact, especially if I say, hey, I gave my name out on the radio. Like, they will get them in contact. Or they can look me up. My son also has a Facebook page, Jacob's Journey 2014, standard spelling. And Christopher has a Facebook page.
Crusade for Christopher with the number 4.
Okay. Crusade for Christopher. Okay.
So, yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions. We need that communication bridge gapped because I really feel like they keep saying they want to help the ultra-rare community. So I really feel like all these interviews Dr. McCary's been doing in the last several weeks, and we've been watching all of them. We feel like he has been talking to us. Like I thought maybe he was aware of the situation, but now I'm not so sure. So we just need to make sure that he is aware because I don't think that he wants to continue to see babies die when it's preventable.
Right. And, it's good to give them the benefit of the doubt until showed otherwise. Because look, at the end of the day, you just want assistance. You want this thing resolved to the extent that they can,
Absolutely.
So, folks, again, this is an opportunity. The website is barthsyndrome.org. Now, tell us the numbers again on how many people have this disease.
We have approximately 300 patients in the entire world and about 150 here in the United States. So that's the impacted population. Potentially, if we get the drug approved, then this would help people worldwide. But all the stakes are here. We really need this drug to pass to help all of the entire population.
Well, okay, we have a caller on the line. All right. Oh, yeah, let's plug you in here.
Hey, Kim, how you doing?
Hey, buddy. Hold on, Steve.
Sure.
Huh?
Christy.
Yeah, we got one there. Whose is this? You got her?
Yeah.
Okay. One more being told there. There we go. All right. All right, Steve.
Hey, Kim. I don't even know if my daughters know this, but their mother had two brothers that died before they were 2 weeks old. And it's assumed that they had Barth syndrome, too. So, yeah, the death is real. Just wanted to put that out there, and thank you for having them on there and getting this issue to light. And just so everybody knows, my daughters are apothecaries. They are all about homeopathic medicine, but sometimes homeopathic just won't do.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to go with what works, and I mean, we don't get so narrow-minded that, you know, like what you always say, throwing out, worshiping at the altar, or good, or however you say it, you know, sacrificing, whatever. You always got those little sayings, but I can't remember, think of it right now.
Right. All right, brother. You have a good weekend.
All right,
Thanks
Steve.
again.
All
Bye-bye.
right, brother. All right. What about St. Jude and all that? Of course, these kids are old. They're grown folks now for them. Well, 17 and 24. That's, you know, I guess.
Well, our children.
Our children, yeah. They're grown at this point. It has the St. Jude type thing or Mayo Clinic. Anybody dealing anything like this?
So the disease is ultra rare, which means that there are patients that are like at the Mayo Clinic, and there are patients that are at St. Jude's that are being treated for things like heart failure or neutropenia.
Gotcha.
But for the
Symptoms of it.
for the symptoms, but there's no FDA approved treatment and there's no cure. If you want to go see a doctor that specializes in this ultra rare condition, then they have a Barth syndrome clinic at the Kennedy Krieger Institute like 4 times a year.
Which is at Johns Hopkins.
But our options are really limited when it comes to things like that. So, you know, when we say we're ultra rare, most of the time when we take our kids to the doctor,
We're the ones telling them.
they're going out in the hallway and they're Googling the condition, or they're coming back and saying, you know, you're the expert on the disease, and a good doctor will appreciate what we have to say about the condition, because most of the time they're not going to know anything about it.
I've had doctors call me and want to bow out, which a good doctor will listen to you, but to call you after hours and say, Miss Wilson, I really don't think that I can help your son because I don't know anything about this disease. And they're the one pediatric specialist in the state, and they're trying to bow out. And you just have to tell them, you know, I had to learn. I had a crash course in medicine. So, and I can really respect a doctor saying, I don't know, because I had so many for 10 years that tried to tell me what was going on with my son when in reality, they had no clue.
Is there any medical doctor services people who want to get involved, who want to help, who want to plug folks in? Go ahead.
Everybody that's involved in the situation, all the doctors at the Kennedy Krieger Institute, the doctors that were involved in the clinical trials, they are staunch advocates. We have doctors all over the nation. We have doctors here in the state that have emailed our representatives. These doctors, we have one that said, you know, I'm the one that's calling at 4 a.m. to the FDA saying, please, can I get emergency access because I have a baby on ECMO that I need to save, and it worked. So yes, it's not just two moms begging. We have a group of people, esteemed people, that are fighting for this treatment for this condition.
Folks, again, this is an opportunity to help out. This is an opportunity to get involved. We're asking for you, if you have any contacts, if you have any suggestions, you have any thoughts, you got somebody in your Rolodex. You know, I know a lot of the folks who go to the Ivy Leagues, they're part of the Alumni Association, and they've got connections with connections with connections. If you can make it happen, if somebody knows who's got Robert Kennedy Jr.'s phone number where he can personally, you know, Charles Everett told me a long time ago, he says, son, it's easier to shout down a ladder than to shout up a ladder. So go straight to the top and let the man at the top tell the folks at the bottom what the hell he needs to have them do.
That's right.
So if you got RFK's contact information, please, if you would, make it happen. And again, you can find her on Facebook.
Amy Bono Wilson, or at Jacob's Journey /2014.
All right. And we just wish everybody will continue to keep them lifted up in prayer. And wow, this is just, let's take a break. We'll be right back. All right, folks, we're back. And want to remind you, our good friend Tom Smith. Tom Smith, LandonHomes.com. The man who is one of, I guess he's been the top 100, in the top 100 land realtors in the nation multiple times over the last 5 or 10 years. He's just, he does what he does at a high level. So we just want to tell you, here's a good deal they have up there in Mabin, Mississippi. For those of you ready to return home, you're looking for an estate, a place, a piece of land, well, welcome to the, what is it called? The Cow Puncher Arena. This horse farm, this horse property, if you will, just minutes from Starkville in Mabin, Mississippi, ready for its new owners. A 10-stall barn with 8 12 by 16 stalls, 2 12 by 12 stalls, a 6-stall barn with 6 12 by 20 stalls and panels, 30 by 40 hay barn, a 96 by 120 barn with an 80 by 20 warm-up arena, men and women's operated laundry facility, 340 square foot retail space, tool and storage room, a 24-foot lean-to on the south side with 4 stalls, a 36-foot lean-to on the north side. This property, if you're into horses, this is it. A working tub, a roping chute with return, insulated and cooled PA box, a rider's lounge, concession building, a 330 square foot conference room, a lighted parking lot, 25 spots for RVs with water. Man, just that there alone should float this thing. 30 with 30 amp and 100 volt hookups for it. This property is perfect for training, running a business, or hosting rodeos. Located near top veterinary school there in Starkville. It's a rare find in Mississippi. Tom Smith has it listed. It also has on it a 4,200 square foot home. 4 bedrooms. The open concept design welcomes you with a primary living spacious kitchen. Folks, this is something to die for. Check it out. You can go to Tom Smith Land and Homes and click on, let's see, what county? Matheson. Let's see, what county is Mabin in? Is it Noxubee? No, it's not Noxubee. Anyway, just click on Tom Smith Land and Homes, or better yet, just call Walker Trainum. He is the listing agent on that. His number is 601-898-2772. And as you know, Tom has always got, this is a beautiful piece of property. He has the aerial views. He's got all the information. It's like walking the property on your own. So check it out today, Tom Smith, LandandHomes.com. But wait, before we get out of here, got one more for you. This is going to be in, one thing about Tom Smith Land and Homes, this guy here is a listing juggernaut. Here's one by his lovely bride, Ellen. They've got a house for $560,000 sitting on 4.2 acres, 5,000 square feet, brick patio, pool, outdoor cooking area, sitting on a lake. Legion Lake is where it's called. And what area is this located in? This is going to be in, and that's Ellen Smith, 601-898-2772. And this property, oh, wow, this is nice. This property is going to be located, come on now, oh, okay. There it is. Clayton Village, Rock Hill Methodist. Oh, it's in Starkville. Okay. It's in Starkville. That's right. I'm sorry, y'all. I should have read this earlier here. 3237 Old West Point Road, Starkville, Mississippi. So if you want more information, call Ellen Smith, 601-898-2772. I'm sorry, ladies. This guy here, is this somebody y'all know? Because he looks like somebody here locally. Is he just part of this thing here?
So he's just one of the Barth patients.
Okay.
This is my son, Jacob, in the middle there. I believe that's when they went to Washington last year. He's actually been to Washington twice about this situation.
Okay. But they can all pass for brothers.
Yeah, they do look like, yeah.
That's what she was saying during the commercial break, that they all look quite similar, and she's actually helped other families get their children diagnosed by just looking at pictures of them in these cardiomyopathy or neutropenia groups on social media.
Okay. Well, this is interesting. It's barthsyndrome.org. Now, you were going to tell us something?
Yes. We were talking about ways to help. You don't have to just know somebody. You don't have to be anybody. You can just be Joe Blow off the street.
But
what
if
we
you
need is a
do-
minute of your time. Yeah, but if you do, but if you don't, we just need a minute of your time. If you will go to this website, it's P as in Paul, the number 2, A as in Apple, .C as in cat, O as in orange. That's P28.co. Plug in your information. It takes like less than a minute, and you're helping amplify our voices to be heard, because instead of two what sounds like irate mothers, when you guys collectively help us, now we sound like someone with a valid problem that they're going to hear, because they need our votes and they work for us.
Well, and what this website does, when you plug your information in, you put your address in, and it automatically emails your local leaders to tell them, hey, we are aware of this situation. We want you to be aware of it, and we want you to help. That's what asking people to put their information in this website is going to do. So back in the day, you would have to have everybody's, .state.gov email address. With this, you just put your address in, your phone number, email address, and it sends to your local leaders, to every one of them automatically.
I just did it. It took 30 seconds.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It took like 30 seconds.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's extremely fast. Like, my major issue with this whole situation is I watch these commercials on these drugs, and the list of side effects, even with those people talking super duper fast, sound like they're on fast forward, it still takes forever. Or you hear about these drugs that they're getting recalled because it's killed all these people. Why are we having such a struggle and such a fight to get a medication approved that has no side effects? It makes no sense to me. Like, if you think about all the people that ran out to get the COVID vaccine because that's what our government, told them was going to be helpful to them. Like, and of course, everybody had their own choice to do that, whether they wanted to or not. Just give us that choice. Like I said before, we
my
are
body,
not.
my right. That
Right.
should extend to the rare community.
Absolutely. What happened to my body, my choice?
Right.
Like, is that only
If you don't have a rare disease,
Well, what is your gut instinct as to why this drug is no longer? What do you think is behind all this?
money?
it's always money.
I really feel like it's not a big pharmaceutical company, and there's not a bunch of politicians that have stocks in this pharmaceutical company, so they just keep trying to put it off until they can bankrupt this company and try to make us go away. But the thing about it is, we're not going away. We have to advocate for our children, because if we don't, nobody else is going to. And I will never stop advocating for my child. For my nephew, we have a cousin that lives in Illinois. He also has Barr syndrome. So, not to mention the other relationships that we've built with other families in this community. When you only have less than 100 people that are like you, they latch onto each other, because when they're together, they feel normal. Whereas
We don't have normal lives. Our
right.
day-to-day normal is nothing like your day-to-day normal. It impacts us. Barth syndrome dictates everything in our life.
we're
We
talking
don't have to live
15
this way. It's not fair to make us live like this, to put our children in a life-threatening state, to make people have to bury. Think of I tried to post an infant casket on Facebook, and it said it was too sensitive to show that. But you want to make us live that way every single day. How is that right?
Yeah.
That's our life. That is our reality.
Well, sadly, it has fallen on you and others who suffer this to be the advocates. I mean, and life is not obviously not fair, but you got to have some fighters and others who will benefit from that.
They picked the right ones, because we're not backing down. We haven't backed down, and we're not going to. And the other mothers and the other fathers and the other families, guess what? They're not shutting up and going away either. And we're not going to. If we have to take it all the way to the top and try to bridge that communication with Trump himself, That's what we'll damn do.
We'll do anything.
You got to fight, and that's why I admire that mothering instinct. That's why one of the most, like I call they talk about the 7 wonders of the world. The first 7 is a mother and her mothering instincts, particularly when they're intact. It's fascinating. It's just incredible. It's kind of like watching an ant carrying all that weight.
Right.
Dude, they do it day in and out.
We're tired.
Yeah, but again, that's a mother's love, and I hat tip to you for again carrying out your God-given duties, which is to see after those kids. See them through the best you can. So a hat tip to you. I think some good's going to come out of this. We just got to remain prayed up and prayerful and believing that God will touch the right people. And
that's what we're hoping and praying for.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, folks, we're back. Final few minutes of the Kim Wade Show. The syndrome is BARTH, B-A-R-T-H, syndrome.org. And these ladies here are pushing hard on behalf of those who suffer from it. And they're just asking for whatever assistance you can give. The minimum is to contact that website, that email, whatever. You give it again.
Yeah, it's p2a.co. P as in Paul, the number 2, the letter A is in apple, C is in cat, the letter O is in orange.
Okay.
Or if you know of any influencers, I mean, seriously, anybody, we need attention to this. Like, first they said, oh, well, these people are willing themselves to feel better. No, babies cannot will themselves off of life support. And that's what this drug has done for many people, many babies. Like, quit denying us this. It should be our body, our choice. Give us the right to try.
Right.
The FDA has, according to the ladies, has told the company that's manufacturing, well, you give us another $100,000, we're going to let you go start the trials over, which will be another 10 years.
Well, they told them they could file another application. But if we approve it, the babies will be excluded. Well, these are the most vulnerable patients.
Because that's their issue is, well, we need another trial because there's not enough patients. So give us more patients. Well, we can't give you something that doesn't exist. 85% die before the age of 5. What part of we can't give you something?
Wait a minute. That's clearly more than what Dr. Fauci and them did with the vaccines in the emergency warp speed thing.
Absolutely. And they're setting the standard right now for all ultra-rare communities. Like, there are no more people that could have participated.
That's why they're ultra-rare.
Right, exactly. So don't put us in the same box as any other.
That just sounds like they don't want to do it for whatever reason.
Right.
For whatever reason. But we're asking you guys, just look at it like this. Do you imagine what it would be like to look at your child every day and think, this might be our last day? Because most of the time it sneaks up behind us and taps us on the shoulder and snatches our kids away. Just like that. No warning. And we don't want to live in a hospital either. Give us a chance to have a normal life.
That's barthsyndrome.org. If you need to contact the ladies, you can always contact me. What's your email? Your Facebook?
Amy Bono Wilson or Jacob's Journey 2014.
All right. We're out of time. We're going to take a break. Back in 70 hours. See you on the radio. Peace.